Listen up, because this one is a sobering story. 2 Kings 17 tells how Israel, once a chosen nation, reached its breaking point. Hoshea became the last king of Israel, and though he did evil in the sight of the Lord, he was not as wicked as the kings before him. Still, the damage had already been done, and judgment was drawing near. Shalmaneser, king of Assyria, moved against Hoshea and took him prisoner. Then he came up against Samaria and laid siege to the city for 3 long years. The people held out, but the pressure did not stop. At last, Samaria fell, and the people of Israel were carried away into Assyria, far from the land God had given them. Why did this happen? Because Israel kept turning away from the Lord. They worshipped other gods, built idols, and followed the detestable practices of the nations around them. They rejected God's prophets. They ignored his warnings. They walked in the sins of Jeroboam, the first king who led Israel into rebellion, and they would not turn back. Time after time, God called them, but they refused to listen. So the Lord gave them over to their enemies, just as he had warned. This was not a sudden collapse. It was the result of years of stubborn disobedience. They had the truth, but they chose idolatry. They had mercy, but they chose rebellion. Then the king of Assyria brought people from other nations and settled them in Samaria. These new residents brought their own customs, their own idols, and their own false worship. They mixed the worship of the Lord with the worship of other gods, and that corrupted the land even more. Their religion became a blend of fear and compromise. They feared the Lord, but they still served their own gods. They wanted God's protection without God's obedience, and that kind of divided heart never leads to blessing. Israel's exile was the result of persistent disobedience and rejection of God. When we turn away from God, we face consequences. Returning to God is always the path to restoration. 2 Kings 17, the fall of Israel.